Breaking news here for Cardano. We've got a brand new ETP bringing along leverage trading for Cardano that we could see as early as April. We've also got some teases about NASA and their integrations here in the ecosystem, as well as the fact that Cardano could potentially lead the AI agent revolution. So without any further ado, let's jump on in. What's up, ADA gang? Welcome into Dapp Central, your home for everything blockchain and crypto. We've got some big breaking news here as it pertains to Cardano and the ecosystem. We've got confirmation that NASA has code running here on the blockchain. We've also got the AI revolution potentially taking place here on Cardano with Masumi, and the fact that the Cardano Foundation has doubled down, partnering up with them in a service provider, making all of this possible here in the ecosystem. Now, we've also got some big breaking news here about the first ever leveraged ETF specifically for Cardano coming in from Toodle Capital. I'll break down exactly what that could potentially mean and exactly why we're seeing something such as this. But in a nutshell, we could potentially see this particular ETF launching as soon as April of 2025 if approved by the SEC. So without any further ado, let's jump on in. But before we do, if it's your first time stopping by, my goal is to help you find your footing within the Cardano and blockchain ecosystems. If you appreciate content just like this, please smash that thumbs up on the way in. I definitely do appreciate it. If you want more, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. Now, if you want to extend your support here for the channel even further, consider delegating with either of the two Dapp Central stake pools, both of them sharing the stake pool ticker DAPP. Without any further ado, let's jump right on in because we do have a long list of content here to dive into. But the first thing I want to highlight is a post that really actually ran underneath my radar here, posted by Patrick from Endmaker, where he mentioned the fact that, quote unquote, this is from Frederick Regard and Davos at the recent event that the foundation had just attended, stating, NASA has code running on Cardano today. I bet that some of you here in the audience didn't know that. Now, if you aren't aware, I actually had broke some news here with Giorgio Zanetti. This was back at the Cardano Summit in October, so roughly about 4 or so months ago, where he mentioned that the Cardano Foundation was working alongside NASA for a supply chain management system. So I'm just going to play this very, very brief clip here, and then we're going to dive into an article and exactly why Cardano could be in the spotlight very soon when it comes to professional grade companies such as NASA, right? And them integrating into blockchain technology. I know that there's been a lot of people that have been concerned about the price action, adoption, etc. But the foundation has made it very clear that enterprise level adoption is their goal. And so while retail does appear to be flocking to other networks like Solana, Sui, just to name a few, it does appear that their goal is on the bigger picture in a more sustainable activity period with platforms like NASA, where again, it's not going to be something that happens once per month. If you're able to onboard big companies like NASA, big banks, they're going to be reoccurring users here on the channel. They're going to be transacting year round, and they're going to be expecting top-notch security and making sure that the blockchain never goes down, which we here in Cardano know that that's exactly what Cardano does best. So without any further ado, I'm going to play this very brief clip here, and then we're going to jump into this article breaking down some of the recent content mentioned by Fred.
We have been educating NASA on some blockchain topics. A proof of concept has been done to help them track some supply chain pieces of equipment. The other thing we have very high in our priority list is the identity wallet.
So I'll cap it just at that. If you do want to find the full interview, I'll leave the link to it down below. But that was by far one of the biggest pieces of news, or one of the biggest pieces of content that I was able to break following the recent Cardano Summit. So jumping back into this particular article here, breaking down the fact that Fred had mentioned that there is NASA's code running on Cardano. It basically broke down the fact that NASA's choice of Cardano indicates that the blockchain's reliability and decentralized nature are becoming increasingly attractive across various sectors, particularly in applications requiring integrity and transparency. And that's what I was mentioning earlier. You know, people are asking, why didn't Trump's meme coin or meme token launch on Cardano? Well, put it plain and simply, they were looking for degens, they were looking for liquidity, and they were looking for where the attention was or where the attention is. And that's completely okay. I think that's something that we as a community here need to sort of just understand and be familiar with. If we want to attract a flash in the pan, or if we want to attract, fly by night artists, we can do that. But I don't think that that's really where Cardano shines. Cardano shines in its ability to scale, in its uptime, and it also shines in its decentralization. So I think we have to keep our core values here in mind and make sure that we don't lower our standards to appease or to attract people when it comes to the token launch, for example, like Trump. Now, what lies ahead? It states that the space industry's intricate web of suppliers and manufacturers require stringent tracking of every component's journey from creation to launch, and using blockchain technology can create a transparent record of each transaction, shielding NASA from counterfeit and subpar components. And so I dove a little bit deeper into that, and I actually took a look here at the official NASA website, where they have a program called ICT SCRM, where it states that that program or that particular team conducts supply chain risk assessments on information and communication technology products and services acquired by NASA. And what's interesting is that diving even deeper, there's this graphic here. If I actually open that up here in the separate tab, where there's the 3 P's of NASA's SCRM. And the first P stands for provenance, where they talk about blockchain technology and the fact that they're transparent, traceable, and tamper-proof when it comes to supply chain data. So each piece here sort of coming together, right, with the supply chain management being confirmed by Giorgio. And then we also have Frederick Agard recently mentioning his piece about NASA having code here on Cardano. Now, my question is that code the same exact code that's being used for the supply chain management, or is it something new, right? And I think that that's where things really get interesting, is that if it is something new, then there is definitely some things that we as an entire community may not be fully aware of. Now, the next thing I want to break down here in continuation with this article is the Masumi network and AI agents. So there's been the launch of Talos, which has now really become the AI agent here on Cardano. We've seen other teams sort of spin off and create their own AI agents. But if you aren't aware, these are basically autonomous AI robots or AI assistants. And so Talos, I think right now has like a market cap of 10 million on Cardano. It popped up literally about not even a month ago, but all it does is scan tweets, make responses or highlight responses, and it behaves completely on its own, which is what's really interesting about this. And so we're starting to see a lot of this AI powered software or just these AI agents being incorporated across multiple different platforms. Facebook has now integrated AI agents. I believe X, Instagram. So these are going to be, I think, the norm moving forward. And it's not just the fact that this is going to be the norm, but there's going to need to be some sort of core platform or infrastructure that allows for a lot of the software that powers these agents to be had, or to sort of host all of that on. And so having said that, it looks like Cardano could potentially be that platform that hosts a lot of the core infrastructure or the core software to allow for the creation of agents and the integration of agents across multiple platforms. And so it talks about the fact that the Masumi network fuses blockchain and AI, establishing a decentralized platform for AI implementation and development. Now, what has actually happened so far? Well, if you've missed it, in Davos, I should say, at the recent event with the foundation, not only did they announce that they were partnering up with Masumi, they also actually did a brief demo. And I'm going to dive into this a little bit deeper in probably a separate video. But we have Patrick here, who's broken down how to basically get started here and how to create an AI agent. So Masumi has their version 1 of their node officially released. Again, I'm just going to sort of scrub through this here, but Patrick walks through the entire process of downloading the node, installing it, getting it set up, and basically giving you everything that you need in order to begin playing around or at least testing some of this technology moving forward. Now, as we get ready to wrap up that particular article here, I want to just quickly highlight one more thing, and that's the impact of fintech in banking when it comes to blockchain technology. So it states fintech could potentially reap huge benefits here from these innovations with the credibility that comes from collaborating with NASA, and Cardano could attract an unprecedented amount of institutional interest and investments. If you've missed it, again, we have the Cardano Foundation shaking hands and writing MOUs out there in Argentina. This took place not too long ago in Entre Rios. And one of the things that they said that they wanted to focus on moving forward are big banks in DeFi. In addition, we've got Liquid, the largest lending and borrowing protocol here on Cardano, talking about a platform called Liquid Pro, which literally focuses and targets institutional grade investors. And so now that we've got a brand new administration with Donald Trump, we've got Gary Gensler leaving, we've got a pro chair coming in, and we've got Trump who's just signed a pro crypto executive order. It seems like the tables have officially turned, and we've seen big banks saying that, hey, if we can get some clarity, we're ready to jump into the blockchain and crypto space. And so all of that pieced together, again, really makes it seem as if big banks in TradFi are literally right around the corner when it comes to adopting Bitcoin and altcoin technology. So if Cardano is able to position itself at least early on to attract big banks and to attract liquidity based off of the fact that it's reliable, scalable, and secure, that could make Cardano the de facto blockchain when it comes to TradFi and corporate entities. Again, nothing against retail adoption, but a lot of other blockchains have already sort of sucked the liquidity for that. But there hasn't really been a blockchain that's been able to do enterprise grade operations just yet. So I think Cardano is definitely in the running for something like that. Now, a competitor that I definitely see doing something very similar could be XRP, where they've just officially acquired 2 more licenses, bringing, I think, their total amount of licenses to operate in the US to 48 different licenses across multiple different states. The next thing I want to dive into is something that was just released earlier today, and this is focusing on a Cardano 2x leverage ETF. Now, if you've missed it, this is literally just broke. This is coming in here from Toodle Capital, who's just filed for 10 different leveraged crypto asset ETFs. This includes XRP, Solana, Trump, Litecoin, Melania, Bonk, BNP, Cardano, Chainlink, and Polkadot. Now, why is this important? If I'm not mistaken, this would be the first ever leveraged ETF or ETP that would actually include Cardano. And so with what I've mentioned earlier, Gary stepping out, Trump being pro-crypto, a brand new SEC group, it seems like this could be a litmus test to see exactly what some of these asset managers can get away with. And if this is successful, you can definitely bet that there's going to be even more leveraged ETFs and even more ETFs just generally speaking, right? For different meme coins, layer 1 coins, DeFi coins, potentially even RWA tokens. I mean, this could open up the floodgates here for ETFs. And so having said that, I took a closer look here at Toodle Capital, and we can see that right now they've got quite a few different set of ETFs or different products here. A lot of different tickers, some of them focusing on self-defense, some of them focusing on regional banks. We've got some of them focusing on Bitcoin. And then we've also got some down here, which are shorting NVIDIA and also shorting even Tesla. If you're wondering about how much assets they have under management, I took a closer look at that as well. If you appreciate that, please smash that thumbs up. It's one of the easiest ways to support me here on the channel as a content creator. But we can see that they've got over $3.59 billion across all of their different ETPs or ETF products. And so really, really bullish to see. Now, as we get ready to wind things down here, this is an article coming in here from TradingView stating that the experts further emphasize that this is a pivotal moment here for issuers as they test the boundaries of what U.S. securities or what the U.S. SEC will actually permit. Now, we have Eric Balchunas, who has added that the crypto ETFs fall under the Investment Company Act of 1940, suggesting that unless the SEC disapproves these applications, these ETFs could potentially be available for trading as early as April. Now, tell me what you think, in your opinion, that lines up with. For me, I think that lines up with something around altcoin season. Again, we've yet to really see altcoins taking off. We've got Bitcoin chopping up and down for the last month or so, around 100K. And it's really, I think, been breaking down a lot of altcoins, with Cardano being one of them. I'm getting countless number of comments talking about the fact that Cardano's price action isn't moving, etc. But guys, please be patient or exercise patience. We saw XRP going from being called a stable coin, stuck at 50 cents. Last year, when Solana went from $8 to basically $200, XRP did not even move a penny. and people were flooding XRP. And literally in the last 60 days, XRP has gone from 50 cents all the way up to brand new all-time highs, touching $3.30. And so again, it's not to say that that's exactly what's going to happen with Cardano, but these assets move when you least expect them. So it's just a really, really interesting reminder, right, for anybody that may be new here. But don't get discouraged when Cardano doesn't move. At the end of the day, every crypto asset is only going to move once Bitcoin moves. And as of late, Bitcoin has not yet moved. Once we get Bitcoin moving out of the $100,000 zone, potentially going next to $120, $130, $140,000 per Bitcoin, that's when we're really going to see altcoins waking up. And that could potentially line up with that April timeline when some of these leverage ETFs come into play. Now, if you aren't aware, I did some additional digging here. Again, if you enjoyed this content, please smash that thumbs up. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. And of course, if you want to extend your support for the channel, consider delegating with the Dapp Central Stake pools. But I want to quickly highlight here the fact that Coinbase also launched their own Coinbase 50 index, putting together the top performing 50 crypto assets into an index, making it extremely simple for anybody who's new into the space to go ahead and actually start investing. Having said that, and diving a little bit deeper, Cardano is listed as a part of their ETF. So we can see we've got Bitcoin, of course, with 50% of the share or the portfolio weight. We've got ETH with 20%, followed by XRP at 9%, Solana at 6%, Dogecoin at 2%, and then Cardano at 1%. Now, I think that just like with Grayscale, they're going to learn the hard way that they should probably have a much larger allocation of Cardano than they currently do in their portfolio. If you've missed it, Grayscale, which I actually pulled up their fund here, also only has ADA at 1%. They'd previously removed it, then re-added it into their secondary fund, which I'm not showing here, but it's their Ethereum X smart contract fund, where they basically bumped up their allocation from around 15% to nearly 20%. But in their large cap fund, it's only at 1%. So again, I think that they're going to learn the hard way once Cardano does start to move, that they probably should have held a little bit more ADA. Charles has mentioned this very well. Literally, Cardano is the younger brother to Bitcoin. There's no other blockchain that uses the EUTXO model just like Cardano does, with a passionate and strong community like Cardano has. So I think for me, it's a matter of time. And again, just being very patient. Now, just sort of talking about ETPs, we've also got the AADA ETP coming in from 21 shares, which currently boasts $95 million. And this is solely an ADA-backed ETP. So this is exactly what we want to see, more people diving into Cardano. And this has actually been around since April 23rd of 2021. So again, really interesting to see. Now, keeping the conversation moving here as we get ready to wind things down, we've got an interesting partnership taking place between Filecoin, Blockfrost, and Cardano. Now, if you aren't familiar with Blockfrost, it's a Cardano API platform, meaning that from a developer's perspective, anytime that you want to execute something on chain, or anytime that you want data from the network, you can use Blockfrost and different commands that they've outlined in order to do so. Now, Blockfrost has been an integral piece into Cardano. They've been integrated here since basically day one, and they're sort of the go-to platform for APIs and developers, but they've now also integrated Filecoin. So Filecoin is basically focusing on data redundancy and secure data storage using the blockchain. And so now that we've got Blockfrost in the middle, right, you've got Cardano there on the right, and you've got Filecoin on the left. This now offers an additional layer of redundancy for builders here in the ecosystem. So relatively bullish news that we want to see here when it comes to that. Last but not least, let's jump into the very last topic here for today's video. And that's the fact that Esperanza is officially coming. So if you're a part of the Cornucopias family, well, first off, thank you, Copy fam. They've been one of the most supportive and one of the stronger communities here when it comes to gaming and just Cardano in general. But they've now officially teased the release of Esperanza. This will be the second sort of big area or big gameplay section for this game. They've already released Solace. We've seen a lot of that already, but this looks amazing, just like everything else does when it comes to Cornucopias. Reminds me of the Wild West, right? Or the early cowboy times. And so I'm really excited to see exactly how this is going to pan out, but looking forward to this. And again, want to just quickly shout this out here as I'll be catching up here with Rob Gregg, one of their 4 co-founders, in the next day or so, to get a breakdown of everything that's sort of been ongoing when it comes to the development. So definitely keep an eye out here. I'll have some more Cornucopias updates, but that'll bring me to the end here for today's video. As always, if you've appreciated content just like this, please smash that thumbs up on the way out. If you want more, consider subscribing. And if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, leave those down below. That said, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.